The Old Man and the Sea, Part 6. 85 is a lucky number, the old man said. How would you like to see me bring one in that dressed out over 1,000 pounds? People, dress out is to prepare and kill for market, okay? But it still doesn't explain completely what does it mean here. So if a fish dresses out over 1,000 pounds, so it means after cleaning it, you still have 1,000 pounds. I don't understand about those things, but I imagine, for example, if you kill a pig, and I think, I don't know, a pig is 100 kilos, let's imagine. And probably the pig will dress out what? 80 kilos, maybe? Because you're going to get the intestines out, there will be blood out, and etc. I'll get the cast net and go for the sardines. Will you sit in the sun in the doorway? Yes, I have yesterday's paper and I will read the baseball. The boy did not know whether yesterday's paper was a fiction too, but the old man brought it out from under the bed. Perico gave it to me at the bodega, he explained. I'll be back when I have the sardines. I'll keep yours and mine together on ice and we can share them in the morning. When I come back, you can tell me about the baseball. The Yankees cannot lose. But I fear the Indians of Cleveland. I have faith in the Have faith in the Yankees, my son. Think of the great DiMaggio. People, just one observation, you will see that all those names, the great DiMaggio and the old man will mention many others, they were real people, real athletes in baseball, okay? In the description of this video, I put a link of Quizlet regarding this part 6, part 7 and part 8 if I'm not wrong. And in some of the pictures you are going to have the great DiMaggio and I think one more there. Just so that you know that this is historically accurate. You know, he's not making up those names. Okay. Have faith in the Yankees, my son. Think of the great DiMaggio. I fear both the Tigers of Detroit and the Indians of Cleveland. Be careful, or you will fear even the Reds of Cincinnati and the White Sox of Chicago. You studied it and tell me when I come back. Do you think we should buy a terminal of the lottery with an 85? Tomorrow is the 85th day. We can do that, the boy said. But what about 87 of your great record? It could not happen twice. Do you think you can find an 85? I can order one. One sheet. That's $2.50. Who can we borrow that from? People, terminal here for this context is a ticket, right? But he wants an entire sheet, so probably it's of course more expensive, but if you win, you get more money. That's easy. I can always borrow $2.50. I think perhaps I can too, but I try not to borrow. First you borrow, then you beg. Keep warm, old man, the boy said. Remember, we are in September. The month when the great fish come, the old man said. Anyone can be a fisherman in May. May, of course, by the context you've got, guys, that it's the easiest season to fish in the spring, right? There's a website that analyzes quotes, and there was an interesting interpretation over there. The link is in the description. Somebody said that the old man was let me change my sentence. Somebody said that this sentence can be interpreted in two ways. First, the literal way, it's May, there are more fish and it's easier to fish in May. And the second one would be May is the spring, and the spring of your life is when you are young. And it's very easy to fish when you are young. Now try to fish when you get older and you're losing your strength, you know. It takes a real man to do so, okay? I think that's a very nice observation. I think it's a little bit of an over-interpretation. I think the man doesn't mean that at all by the context, you know, he doesn't have that in mind. But we can take that interpretation as an outside interpretation to think about the book. And that's true, right? It takes a real man, you know, to fish big fish when they're old. Okay. I go now for the sardines, the boy said. When the boy came back, the old man was asleep in the chair and the sun was down. The boy took the old man army blanket, that's why this picture is here from the beginning, if you are wondering, if you've been wondering so far. So the boy took the old man army blanket off the bed and spread it over the back of the chair and over the old man's shoulders. They were strange shoulders, still powerful, although very old. And the neck was still strong too. And the creases, remember, like we saw the creases of the hand, and the creases did not show so much when the old man was asleep and his head falling forward. Of course, because when you are like this, you know, your neck, it's easier for your... I think you can see it mainly with me, but because I am fat, you know, I can see like creases here, right? And if I do like this, if my head falls forward, okay, there will be no creases at all, right? His shirt had been patched. You remember patched because of the sale, remember guys? But here I got a picture of patched t-shirt. Of course this one is artificially patched so that it looks old, but it's cool, right? And it's even more expensive than a regular t-shirt and etc. Okay, but there you go. His shirt had been patched so many times that it was like the sail, and the patches were faded to many different shades by the sun. Okay, you can have a bright color. If you put it in the sun, it will start fading. The old man's head was very old, though, and with his eyes closed, there was no life in his face. The newspaper lay across his knees, and the weight of his arm held it there in the evening breeze. He was barefooted. He was wearing no shoes. The boy left him there, and when he came back, the old man was still asleep. "Wake up, old man," the boy said, and put his hand on one of the old man's knees. The old man opened his eyes, and for a moment he was coming back from a long way away. Then he smiled. "What have you got?" he asked. "Supper." That's like dinner, right? When you have, of course, you can have dinner and supper. Some people do have. That is, the last meal of the day should be supper, right? The Last Supper, for example, is that painting with Jesus and all the apostles. "Supper," said the boy. "We're going to have supper." "I'm not very hungry." "Come on and eat. You can't fish if you can't fish and not eat." "I have," the old man said, getting up and taking the newspaper and folding it. When you fold the newspaper, okay? Origami, for example, is the art of folding paper. Taking the newspaper and folding it. Then he started to fold the blanket. "Keep the blanket around you," the boy said. "You'll not fish without eating while I'm alive." "Then live a long time and take care of yourself," the old man said. "What are we eating?" "Black beans and rice, fried bananas, and some stew." I guess I have a picture of stew here. Yeah.